Hello, YouTube. My name is Insane Rocker coming at you live through the power of the internet. Today will be my very first top 10 video over the top 10 most broken spells of all time. This top 10 will be going over when the spells were broken and what exactly broke them, and why I feel they deserve to be on this list. Starting at number 10, Card of Safe Return. This card right here was a one-card Exodia, basically. All you had to do was run Manticore of Darkness at 2 with it, and you could loop Manticore back on field by discarding Manticore of Darkness to special summon another Manticore of Darkness, and so on and so forth in the end phase to basically draw Exodia on your first turn and win the game. Number 9, just board wipes in general. To me, the board wipes are the proverbial flipping the table. As a matter of fact, I think there was a board wipe in the anime called Flipping the Table. So on this list, it includes Raigeki, Dark Hole, Kaiju Slumber, Harpy's Feather Duster, and Heavy Storm. And I think Giant Trinade as well, because bounce it back to the hand, set your 5, pass, makes your opponent not be able to activate their stuff. It basically is just giving your opponent the middle finger and telling them, no, you can't do what you wanted to do. I'm going to do my stuff, though. Number 8, Metamorphosis. This card is banned for a reason, and I don't think it should ever come back, personally. I feel it's a very powerful card and could be used really well right now. However, if you are a GOAT format player, you know this card all too well and how powerful it can be. If you play GOAT, I assume you're playing 3 Metamorphosis because you're playing GOAT Control. I know there are other GOAT decks, but GOAT Control being the most popular. So for those that don't know, Metamorphosis was broken back in GOAT format, which was in 2004 and 2005. Don't know the exact dates, sorry. But, what you would do is you would summon any level 1 monster like Magician of Faith or Magical Merchant, which were very powerful at the time, or just activate Scapegoat and get 4 GOAT tokens, activate your Metamorphosis, tribute off one of your tokens, and get a free Thousand-Eyes Restrict. This was incredibly powerful because you could steal an opponent's monster and keep card advantage, while still being able to take their big beat sticks to make one of your own. Number 7, Card Demise. I absolutely hate this card. The ability to set 5, pass, has been bad enough in decks like Chainburn, but Card Demise just gave it even more consistency because you were able to set 4 cards, activate Card Demise, draw 3, set 1 more card just to get that extra oomph in there and thin your deck out. And for decks like this that can play Card Demise, the cost of not being able to special summon or your opponent taking damage that turn is no big deal because they're very back row heavy decks and probably just going to have 1 card, kind of like Protect the Castle, like Bujins, or like Cleaforts, trying to move through their deck as quickly as possible to get to their protective back row to shut you down. Number 6, Card Destruction. This card was an absolute nightmare when it was at 3. You would not want to see this card activated against you, but if you played on your opponent, it was so funny. So your opponent would sit there either with a full hand of 5 while you have nothing, or just 1 or 2 cards. You'd activate it, get rid of all their resources, or if you had a bad hand, you could activate it and redraw while your opponent had nothing, and they would get nothing out of it. This card deserves to be banned. I don't think it should ever come back. It thins the deck out way too quickly. Number 5, Forceful Sentry. Out of Confiscation, Forceful Sentry, and Delinquent Duo, this, in my opinion, is the most powerful because it was cost-free. You just drop it down, force a card back to your opponent's deck, and you have to look at their hand and gain all that information on them. There's a reason why this card is banned. On this list, I tried to include cards that were not banned. Card of Demise and Raigeki, Dark Hole, Kaiju Slumber being some of them. But I realized that Konami's actually done a very good job of banning more broken cards with decent timing, and has allowed them to stay on the ban list. Some of them they've tried to bring back, like Monster Born and Snatch Steal, they brought back for a couple of formats. And Raigeki has stayed back for us. So next is number 4, Snatch Steal. Same thing with Forceful Sentry. Out of Brain Control and Change of Heart and Snatch Steal, I think Snatch Steal is the best hands down, because you're able to keep permanent control of that card, do whatever you want, no restrictions. Sure you give your opponent 1,000 life points every turn, but if you're able to smack them with the 3,000 point monster, it's not that big of a deal. Number 3, Mirage of Nightmare. Back before there were ban lists and this card was at 3, it was a lot of fun to be able to just activate, draw until you have 4, which at that time, with back row being pretty prevalent, you could just draw 4 cards, period. And then during your draw phase, activate your own MST to pop it to where you don't have to pay the cost of discarding your whole hand. Or you could play things like Sinister Serpent, which was at 3 at the time, and was still very powerful because it was pre-errata, to mitigate the cost of having to discard your whole hand. Number 2, Dimension Fusion. I absolutely love this card. Pay 2,000 points, bring back all your banished cards. What you would do with it, but they're all destroyed in the end phase. What you would do with this is you'd activate Spell Economics, have a couple of banished Demox, drop your Dimension Fusion, pay nothing because of economics, bring back your Demox, add it back to hand, swing, they're banished in the end phase because of their own effects when they leave the field, and next turn you can just redo that. And you can also recycle other spells like Regeki, Dark Hole, Harpies, things that are very powerful to use against your opponent again. Honorable mentions include Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Change of Heart, Brain Control, Temple of the Kings, Soul Charge, Last Will, and Temple of the Six Samurai. And finally, we have a winner. The number 1 most broken card, in my opinion, is Painful Choice. No, that was not a slip of the tongue. I feel that Painful Choice is the most broken card ever come out in Yu-Gi-Oh! Able to reveal 5 cards from your deck, have your opponent pick one and add it to your hand. It's absolutely insane, because you're able to thin out 5 cards from the deck, first of all. Second, they go to the graveyard, they're not banished, there's no cost for it really, and so in this modern format where the graveyard is like a second hand, or even back in Chaos Control when this thing was at 3, there was absolutely no problem sending cards straight to the graveyard, because you would just banish them or bring them back with things like Premature Burial and Monster Reborn to get more plussing off of it. And this card led to a lot of broken combos, like a first turn Yada Lock that I have had plenty of fun pulling on my friends whenever we played traditional. So if you guys liked that video, please leave me a like. Feel free to comment your opinions down below and subscribe. Have a good day.